So any time that I'm introduced as a former U.S. Marine, honestly, I get a little nauseous. Because you see, I made some really bad mistakes right at the end of my career, and I ended up in prison for drug conspiracy. So while I'm a former U.S. Marine, I'm also a former inmate. Now, right about now, somebody who hasn't been paying attention, they're going like, what did she say? Did she say playmate? And yes, while I like to think I could have been a playmate, no, I actually said inmate. I spent almost a year in solitary confinement, 23 hours a day in a cell. And on April 1st, 1999, the guard opened up the gate and said, "You're being released." And I sat there. It's April Fool's. I'm not going anywhere. And he's like, "No, you really do have to leave." And as I was walking through the gate, a guard very pleasantly said to me, "See you soon." Yeah. Now, back then, I had really, really big hair, and my head was bobbing, and I was like, "What? Are you coming to Miami?" Now, what she said was 96% of all inmates violate their probation within the first year and come back. What I heard was that I had a 4% opportunity to succeed. Thank you. And I was amazed because before that point, I don't know that I even knew I had a choice. But instantly, I made up my mind that I was never, ever, ever going to go back to prison. It was a choice I made. Now, according to a 2012 Department of Justice survey, it says that 1 out of every 3 Americans has a criminal record. Yeah. So if you look to your left, go ahead and look, and then to your right, 1 of the 3 of you has ridden in the back of a police car. Yep. Now, if it's not one of you, it's probably a parent, a sibling, a spouse, a child, or a friend. And the revolving door when people keep going back to prison, it's called recidivism. That's the technical term for it. And it's defined as a criminal's tendency to commit another crime within the first year, the recidivism rate. And law enforcement agencies use this recidivism rate to determine how many personnel they should hire for a particular area, and rightly so. But they also use this with things like somebody's prior criminal history and certain other guidelines to determine when, where, and what type of crime somebody will commit. It's crazy that they can actually have algorithms that can predict this. And when I'm talking about other guidelines, it's things like, is somebody sleeping on a couch or in a bedroom? Do they have adequate food and water and clothing? Do they have a job with a livable wage? Do they have the support of their friends and family? Because somebody who's sleeping on their mother's couch and does not have a job is more likely to commit the same type of crime that they originally committed in a neighborhood that they're familiar with within 4 to 6 weeks of being released from prison. Now, coincidentally, that 4 to 6 week time period, that's right around the time that their mother is asking them to help with the monthly bills. It's very easy to slip back into that life of crime. So I know somebody is out there asking, why does it matter? Why should you care whether somebody gets a second chance or not? Well, there are 3 reasons. Number 1, if somebody gets a second chance and they stay out of prison, we have safer neighborhoods. It helps to hold the family intact. And then the 3rd reason is that it gives them credibility with their peers and in their communities. It has a butterfly effect. And so when they go back and they start talking to their peers and saying, like, no, you should not do this, if they've been given a second chance, their peers understand them. They relate more to them. Now, I was given a second chance in 2012 when I was granted a pardon by Florida Governor Rick Scott. And so now, when I talk to people about getting their records sealed or expunged or pardoned, I know what I'm talking about. I know that if you have a 4% chance, it's a big enough chance that if you take it, it makes a difference. And remember when I said that I was never, ever, 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 ever going to go back to prison? I go back 2-3 times a month now and talk to other people and talk to inmates and let them know that they've got that 4% chance.